Good evening, all,
We're recording.
and welcome to the November meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Spokane Public Library. We have any visitors.
Well, I didn't know who's a visitor. I'm a visitor, I guess.
Thank you. Welcome. And we will then go to our library land acknowledgement. All Spokane Public Library buildings serve the traditional homelands of the four bands of the Spokane tribe of Indians. The band, fiddle band, lower band, and Chewelah band. Since time immemorial, the Spokane tribe of Indians has lived and cared for these grounds, identifying themselves as flesh to the earth. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We show gratitude to the land, river, and peoples who have been fishing, hunting, harvesting, and gathering here for generations. May we learn from one another's stories so that we may nurture the relationship of the people of the Spokane tribe and to all those who share this land. All right, let's see, do we have any changes or adoptions? Right. We need to approve the October 2024 board minutes.
I move to approve the October 2024 board minutes as they were submitted.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
thank you very much. All in favor, say aye. Now, approval of the October 2024 bills and contributions to the tune of $1,109,086.47.
I move to approve the October 2024 bills and contributions of $1,109,086.47.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you very much. Say aye. And now we are now turning it over to Andrew, and the guys of all things budget.
Yes, so, go easy on me, I don't live these numbers like Nicole does. She is meeting with, insurance broker, as you know, we're obtaining quotes for 2025. There's a bit of delay in the flight for the broker, so she is touring the central library and going through each of our policies with them, so we can get a more accurate quote for the coming year. So as far as October goes, month end, we ended with 114 days of available cash in investments. Balance, which includes reserve for capital, in the tune of $1,480,631. I know why you guys trip up over that money. Just you read it and you want to end it, and then there you go.
But more.
But total in reserve amount is $5,784,163. We did receive our levy bid funding at the beginning of November at about $1.2 million, so it was as expected. Operation expenditure trend, October total just over $1 million at $1,036,797. Staff costs accounted for about $757,000, and capital books and materials totaled about $67,000. There was a network project installation that was recorded in the amount of $51,448. Part of that offset through E-rate discount. Qualify that as part of schools and public libraries qualify for that E-rate discount through FCC. Utilities costs total about $43,000, and we completed the Shadle shed purchase for $32,000. Interfund to the city for the fourth quarter total of $31,000, and our Securitas supplemental security guard charges just over $17,000. That is it on the operations side. Not much to report on the bond fund. Nevada construction costs rolled in at about $57,000. We did complete paving for the Nevada project. We were wondering if that was going to happen by year end, and that was very much weather determined, but that has been completed. So we're talking with MK, the vendor for the vending machine for library materials about the possibility of on-site installation. Possibly. So we're operationally, we're not really planning on operating any programs out of those spaces until spring next year. That's starting in spring. There you go. Any questions for me? Any curveballs that anyone just wants to?
Not so far. This looks good.
And we hope to have a quote for insurance to bring to the board and for approval consideration.
Kudos on evening out the spending.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Question, are you gonna have a separate budget update in your own?
The update is there is no update at this point. So we're hoping to get more information.
Okay.
But, okay. Talk to them a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Just checking, yep.
Where's it gonna happen?
All right. Any other comments or answers? I have nothing to report. So back to you.
Back to me.
Wanted to give us the.
Yep, I do have my written reports part of the packet. Very light report this month. I attended the Urban Library Council Leadership Forum in Philadelphia at the end of October. A lot of focus on organizational wellness and of course pandemic world. A lot of systems are sort of struggling in how to navigate workforce. And a lot of talk on advocating towards the future of libraries, not just funding, but operationally, but for funding just the things we did very here in our community over the past few years around modernization and creating that sort of third space for the community. As far as our DEI work this past month, our next discussion will actually be this week. It's on CAST by Isabel Nickerson. Really examining the caste system that has shaped America and how it's shaped our lives today. Finding the hierarchy of human divisions. We're currently narrowing down our selections for next year, and Sam is working on mapping out some educational opportunities for 2025 various topics. We did hold our final quarterly all-staff training of the year at the beginning of November, and that is part of the stress and trauma reduction series that we're focusing on over the past year, namely, trying to educate staff and give staff a toolkit dealing with a lot of the situations that we find sometimes on a daily basis, trying to avoid burnout, employee fatigue. Our star spotlight for October went to our technology team. They're very hard work on upgrade to Folio. If you haven't checked out the catalog, since that update, it's pretty steady. You can do holds like you normally would be able to expect in a library, and they really upped the search speed. So we're really happy with how that is moving. Just as a reminder, this is a system that the Library of Congress is moving toward adopting as well. So we are at the forefront of this catalog system. Continue to hold my monthly open office hours for staff. Get up to Hilliard next week. No, tomorrow. Or be there tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you. Interesting data point. I was talking with the Urban Libraries Council They yearly collect different usage data points. In light peer systems, throughout the country that serve cities. And on average, library systems are seeing still a 30% drop in their delinquents. We are an anomaly in that. You'll recall last year, we actually exceeded our pre-pandemic numbers by 20%. So they're still seeing a 30% decrease pre-pandemic. We've seen a 20% increase. And you know, finding a way to increase our hours, implementing meeting spaces like this in our study spaces and different community rooms. I also credit our intentional marketing, really getting, you know, the message out there and programming. Those are the things that I think are really making the difference for the way that we're able to reach and serve the community. So I think that that's something we should be proud of and continue down on that path forward. As far as the city of Spokane goes, we'll be taking part in strategic planning December 5th. And we will be following that up with our own strategic planning retreat for our leadership team the following week. Really looking to build towards Vision 2030. I'll be sending out calendar survey of availability to the trustees. I'm hoping to get what we've drafted in front of the trustees for our retreat and input session sometime in January before we go out to the public for their input as well. So very fluid, but you know, really taking a methodical step of stakeholders for this process. Budget update, there really is no update. I've been attending the budget hearing sessions. There, at least the one that I went to last week, there was no call for staff reports or anything like that. So we're just continuing to monitor anything that's happening. And we're hoping that at this point, no news is good news. We'll see. They are set to adopt, I believe, the second Monday at this point in December.
All right,
Any questions?
I have one or two.
Okay.
We're talking about the libraries and wellness. How are other libraries doing?
They're facing the same issues that we're facing. I mean, we're serving in a lot of ways different world. We have a lot of folks going through mental health issues or addiction issues, and you know, we're seeing those impacts. And we're not initially trained really with those situations. But we did recently send a cohort of our staff to a mental health first aid class put on, I think, through Frontier. WSU. Thank you. Last week, we're going to send another cohort in December, but it's just trying to get the tools in front of the staff and recognizing that we are, you know, humans and we're dealing with humans, and how can we do that in the best way possible.
And are the other libraries in the area doing or having similar issues?
In the urban environments, yeah. It's nationwide that we're seeing this. You know, dealing with folks that are, you know, on fentanyl or, you know, going through these crises or just having a bad day. We just seem to be seeing more of that than we did prior to.
Are there any trends related to the wellness, or it could be unrelated to just around staffing retention across the libraries? And does that match up with what we're seeing as well?
We're not seeing a whole lot comparatively of people leaving Spokane Public Library because of burnout. We're trying to be proactive in addressing that to prevent that. But yeah, it's it's not necessarily folks that we started the position, and I'm thankful for flexibility and folks, being willing to evolve and learn new things in order to serve the public that we are seeing come through our doors.
Is there a significant difference? I imagine there is, but a significant difference based on location and how do you kind of mitigate that rotating staff or no?
We'll bring other staff into central. Obviously, we see the greatest amount of issues are central. Shadle as well, but not in a different degree. We will bring in staff for when we need to cover shifts, but mostly that's for sick time. We've had some folks that have left or have received promotions. So we do get some rotation through there, just moving to different locations for different positions. We did have people apply to our central grants for the position internally recently. So that's at least a good sign, I think, that we're getting a better handle on things. I think that moving our security team in-house has made a big difference as well, because we're able to better align their work to our mission. So we continue to see improvements, but it's an issue that we can't let up. Always got to stay on top of it and be willing to make improvements and Yep. Yep. And having the peer folks down at the central library, they really work with a population with many, many different needs. And they do a fantastic job. Very difficult.
Turn rate?
For turnover.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stand on the front. It's not incredibly.
It's not high. I couldn't tell you a specific number, but I could
but
get
we
that
can
for
get
you.
that.
Just to get a sense of year by year, what that looks like over the last 3 to 5 years, just to get a sense of the challenges and potential opportunities out there.
Yeah.
And we can annotate that story too, because in 2020, I think we offered a early retirement incentive. We had a handful of folks that were just like, we're done. We don't want to work back in the public. So there's going to be some context with that as well. But by and large, our retention has historically been really strong. But yeah, with numbers.
Anyone else?
Continuing the thread of staff, you guys have started just with the staff survey within the context of the vision 2030.
Yeah.
Future date. Okay.
Yeah, so we've compiled that, we've shared that out with staff for further looking at.
Yeah.
Our leadership team is going to take that as the basis for building that next step of what we see as for us moving forward, and we'll take that and building. We did just have our first training meeting with Thought Exchange, and that's going to be our community engagement software that we're going to lean on. We're going to be able to do some pretty neat stuff around public engagement that we haven't been able to do in the past. So look forward to looking at that data as well.
Thank you. Paul, welcome.
Hi there. Hope everyone is having a good night. Happy to give council update. I guess I'll start with budget, just to kind of piggyback off of Andrew's comments, and we do have a budget hearing here. Well, we've been having budget hearings at council, but we're going to have another joint kind of study session highlighting some of the I think big budget conversations on Thursday at 11 a.m. In the proposed budget from Mayor Brown, yeah, there's no cuts to libraries. There's been a lot of attention around the COPS program that's gotten a lot of media and attention. And there was a lot of folks down at council last night, and always, want to help, I think, clarify some of the conversations. What was proposed was to put out a contract for RFP because their 5-year contract had expired. So it's not like we're just getting rid of the program, but that was a lot of the conversation last night at council. But Andrew is correct. December 9th is when we will adopt our final budget. So that second Tuesday, and we'll have 2 more budget hearings coming up. One, I think, really spot of good news was the community safety sales tax passing. There was a lot of budget questions around that for continuing funding of, bringing back the neighborhood resource officer program, which we will be able to do, putting funding towards long-term funding towards the traffic unit. Last year, some of that money was pulled from the traffic calming budget. So now we have funds that can help supplant that, as well as long-term funding for municipal community court and the police ombuds. And so it was really exciting to see that pass by almost 60%, and definitely goes to addressing a lot of our urgent public safety needs and helping shore up the budget, which from what Mayor Brown presented was able to fix the budget deficit, in other words, and not have any further cuts to the budget, which we're really excited to see that come out with a balanced proposal for council that definitely makes our jobs a lot easier in terms of next steps, and we're really grateful for that. Just some quick kind of policy items. So tonight, actually, there's going to be another homelessness roundtable that will be at the Central Library. So council's been facilitating ongoing discussions around different policy proposals. So we are going to have a bigger town hall. I believe it's December 6th. And then in January, look at a lot of the different ordinances that have been proposed. Some of them deal with enforcement, such as expanding sit and lie. Some of them are about a general citing of facilities, which would be updating our good neighbor agreement. And a lot of that discussion is coming from the transitioning to the scatter site model. And then an ordinance that I have been proposing would be an employment ordinance. I guess you could call it kind of ban the address, which would help folks who are seeking employment as a pathway out of homelessness. And so all this will be coming before council, and that'll ostensibly be on the docket for January after we pass the budget. Some other things that we have kind of moving. Next month, I'm looking at reinstating the alcohol impact area ordinance downtown. That was actually something that had lapsed, and we'd seen kind of a corresponding increase in alcohol-related crimes downtown. So this would ban the selling of kind of high-gravity liquor, high-gravity alcohol. The ordinance did exist. It was actually passed in about 2010 when I was a legislative aide on council, but the ordinance had lapsed. So it actually hadn't been on the books for about 2 years and hadn't been enforced. So looking forward to bringing that back. That's about it for, I think, big updates. Any questions?
Paul, what do you think of the new police chief?
Big fan. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very, very impressed. He's an amazing listener. He's very, very thoughtful. He's very calm and seems to really take a data-driven collaborative collaborative approach. I mean, I know he's drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot to jump into, but I think he's really getting out there and meeting folks where they are at. I have been really, really impressed, and I know that he loves it here too. So it's just a really a beautiful thing. He was willing to relocate from Tucson up here. I know that he has family up here, the Colville tribe, and was not a stranger to Spokane. So I think it is a little bit of a homecoming, but I just think he's done a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I got that sense too when he was doing his mini town hall a few weeks ago, so thanks for that. Any questions? Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Hey. Hi, Amanda.
Hello. So today I have the communications report for you. Some highlights that I wanted to share with you is that we're implementing an automatic card renewal email. We're implementing that this month. Previously, previously we weren't doing it at all. And then for the past few months, we've been doing them manually, but we were able to work with Folio and Patron Point to set that up. So when you're approaching your card expiration date, you'll get a series of emails about, it's coming up, it's coming even closer, it's past, don't miss out on these great services. So, and we have seen a lot of engagement on those. So that's on the manual one. So it's really fun to be able to get those automated. Our key marketing topics this month include Global Entrepreneurship Month, Native American Heritage Month, Write a Novel in November, Die November. And then also we just got back from a trip to St. Louis where we presented at LMCC, the Library Marketing and Communications Conference on Internal Communication. This is an extremely worthwhile conference for our team. It's all other library marketing communications professionals. So it's just a lot of shared experience and we can learn so much from it, commiserate, get great ideas. So we're really grateful to be able to do that and to be able to share the great work that we're doing here. We've gotten really positive feedback from our presentations, and we've presented for the past 4 years at this conference. We sent 21 unique emails in October, and including a "We miss you, come back and rediscover." So that's after your email, after your card expires, had one of our highest open rates of the month. And then also you can see Mark Pond was behind this subject line: Startup Spokane joins the Pac-12. It was right when Gonzaga was announcing sports stuff. And it got a 35% open rate. So, because maybe there's shared audience there. One interesting thing that I would point out is that the past few months, we've seen a really high traffic rate to our blogs. And this month we kind of went back to normal. I can't explain why, but our top visited web pages this past month were Shadle Park Library, Research Tools A to Z, Central, Meeting Room, Get a Card. Those are kind of in our top, our top performing pages. And that one went back to that. And finally, I'll say that we did still have a lot of traffic onto our blogs. We shared the blog on racially restrictive clauses that we're doing the workshops that we're doing in partnership with EWU. Write a Novel in November, always a very popular event time for a lot of our aspiring writers here in Spokane. The Haunted Browns Edition walking tour always gets a lot of traction around this time of year. And as well as our It's Alive Spine Tingling events blog post as well for all of the October themed events that we do. So that concludes my report. Can I answer any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
What was your best takeaway from LMCC?
Oh gosh. Well, so much of it was excellent. What was our best? I mean, this is going to be a kind of self-serving answer, but a lot of people were extremely eager to hear what we do for internal communications. And so we were one of the only internal communications presentations at the entire conference. And just the amount of people that were coming up to us afterwards, asking for more tips, more suggestions, more training, was really rewarding to know that I think we're doing the right thing as far as internal communication. There's a lot we can do better always. But kind of showing that we've put the work in, and then that people are recognizing that all across library boundaries.
Thank you. Okay. Jason,
Well, in October, we jumped back over 400 total events again for the first time in a few months. 403 things happened in the month of October. You're gonna see a really high attendance number there. It's a little misleading. 14,973 people attended events. That includes an estimated attendance of the Frankenstein exhibit, third floor at Central. We don't have a great way of measuring exact numbers, so Vanessa did some research and found a formula that a lot of people use when you have an exhibit in a building that's not the main attraction, and it's a percentage of gate count. So it did add quite a bit to that, but even without that, we had a really big month of attendance. 88 adult events this month, 46 youth events, and then 61 story times. So we just had a lot going on. 208 specialty one-on-one sessions this month, and that even includes with our book of video educator seems to be taking a little bit of a downturn on bookings over the last few months. We don't know if that's a trend or just a blip there. So Ryan's keeping an eye on that, but he only had 8 in the month of October, and usually it's more in the 20s and 30s. So we're going to see what's going on there. 81 music lessons. Andy will talk to you about why that's the case. So it's a lot of music lessons. We hosted an NAACP candidate forum in October. 115 people came to that. It was also broadcast on KYRS. It was a really successful thing. The Hive has been busy. We had the Spokane Carvers Association show. This is the 3rd year we've had this wood carving show and demonstration at the Hive. Over 200 people came to that. The highest attended event of the month was the 33 Artist Market, also at the Hive. 757 people came to that artist market. So yeah, the Hive was busy. Our highest impact scores are the same as our highest attended events, which doesn't always happen, but when you have attendances like 322 for the Cinderella Civic Theater event, 757, that kind of ends up being the leaders there. Spokane is Reading. We had hosted that at Central in October. 180 people came to that, which I think is the highest attendance we've had at that event since it's been coming to Central. It's great. There was a toddler story time that had 126 people in it. So I think that's good or bad.
What age range are we talking about?
Toddlers. What's our cutoff? Is it 2 to 3 years old?
2 to 3.
Yeah. So at least half of those 126 were kids. If you look at the charts, you're going to see that one big spike on the adult side, and that's that the attendance for the Frankenstein exhibit. So it kind of skews the rest of it, but been some good stuff going on. Our impact scores are as high as they've ever been. We kind of tweaked the calculator in April, I believe, but they just keep going up each month. So our staff is doing really impactful, valuable programming. Lots of people are coming to it. Any questions? Yeah.
Are field trips on here?
They are not on here.
Because we had a group come with Dana, and she did an amazing job.
Oh, Dana's is on here,
Dana's
yeah.
are? Okay.
Tours aren't on here. I've talked about values or impact scoring the tours and
Yeah.
doing them, adding them in here, because it is a program that they get to go to, but we haven't done that yet. But Dana's is on here, yeah.
Okay.
It's a special one. I'll tell her.
Any other questions?
Yes, so in your packet, you will see the proposed 2025 board meeting schedule in there. Per the city clerk's request, I need your approval of the schedules to publish them for public consumption.
Is there a reason we don't do it in South Hill?
Is South Hill not on there?
No.
So a lot of this, wow. No, there's not a reason. I think the way that I structured it is based on room availability right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
throughout the rest of the year, there are actually a lot of room reservations on the days that we have board meetings. So it was not intentional. It was probably just the way that kind of fell into place.
Okay.
That's a great question, though. Good catch.
South Hill. Who they are.
Good catch.
Okay, so we need to, well, obviously, action on this, so, we had a chance to take a look at this. Any comments, questions? Okay, so you need an action item.
I do need board approval to present the schedule as is to the city clerk's office.
I move to approve the schedule for next year as is.
Thank you.
I second that.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Say commercial, that was easy.
Mhm.
Okay, Andy,
Just have a short story about the music grant. So, during and prior to the pandemic, my job primarily consisted of providing library patrons with one-on-one music instruction. My background as a performing musician allowed me to teach lessons on a variety of different instruments and music theory as well. With the passage of the last bond and subsequent remodel of Central, the nature of my job shifted considerably. New spaces brought new services, building a recording studio and designing how the public would utilize it. And although time and space are infinite, my time and spaces are not. Music lessons would need to be reduced to accommodate the new services. So from the beginning of my time with the library, the community has demonstrated a nearly insatiable demand for music. The recording studio is almost always fully booked, and this continues a trend that the music lessons started. Save for a brief period of time at the start of the pandemic, it makes me proud to say that for the last 7 years, the library has been able to offer free music lessons consistently and continuously. Now, balancing lessons with recording sessions was extremely challenging after reopening. It required a lot of flexibility and also adjustments. So while necessary, the reduction of lesson capacity, in all honesty, made me a little bit sad. Because I knew that we could never reach all the people that want and need these music lessons, but I also knew that there were people out in the community who, like me, understood the value and the importance of music and the power that it has in people's lives. So I knew there were people and I could find them that they could help me expand the lessons that I was offering. The library has since fostered a beautiful relationship with the Future Song Foundation, which is a local 501c3 dedicated to helping kids experience the benefits of music. And their mission statement reads as follows: ensuring our young people achieve their full potential through the power of music and mentorship. In 2023, I submitted a grant proposal in the amount of $13,500 to Future Song, which would allow the library to double the number of lessons that we could offer post-pandemic by hiring an additional music instructor. They graciously obliged. So in February of this year, our new instructor, Jason Perry, began teaching lessons. And not only has the grant greatly expanded the number of lessons that we can offer, it's also improved access. So with Jason on board, it allows us to offer Saturday and Sunday options in addition to the Wednesday lessons that I teach. And let's see, this year to date, this grant has facilitated an additional 385 music lessons to library patrons. And I'm happy to report this grant has been extended through 2020. Any questions?
I have a question. Would you say that most of your lessons are for younger people or they're mixed?
It is a mix. I'd say mostly it's 18 and under. There's also a sizable population of people who are retired or single parents. A lot of times, their kids have just left the house finally, and they're like, now I can focus on something I want to do. So that's a pretty big chunk, but it's enough, like I said, the majority are kids. So the Future Song Foundation focuses more on youth, and they were happy to help, even though they know there's some older kids.
Speaking of older kids, what's your ratio between students and adults?
The ratio. It's really hard to say. There's an option for age, but it's like I asked how old are you, but that's one of the optional answers people can give. Some people aren't comfortable doing it. But I'd say it's probably at least 1.5 to 2 ratio of kids to adults. Yeah. A lot of families.
Can you give them a sense of which instruments?
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote them, I just didn't read them. I teach music lessons, one-on-one instruction on drums, bass, guitar, ukulele, and keys. So when we interviewed people for this position, we were looking for someone who could do the same. The basic also teaches on all of the instruments that I teach. So if you're looking to learn any of those, you just give me a call.
Yeah, I tried that. Once I got past French horn in college, that was the last of my involvement. But thank you for that, and I'll come by and we'll get together and walk you through all the things that I have. Any other questions? Comments? Andy, thank you. It's more important to thank you for all of the work you do. Large cohort of children of all ages out there who are benefiting the work you're doing. So thank you very much.
And from the beautiful music that you yourself create. I got to see you perform at Pretty Live, and I was like, this is, yeah, you're amazing, like filled in for somebody else, and
Oh,
it's fantastic. Yeah.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, that was uplifting, actually. Let's see, do we have any additional items / changes to the agenda? Okay, public comment.
Nothing online. Didn't sign it. Same check. Signs.
All right, then, our next regular meeting will be December 17th, 2024 at Shadle Events Room. Any questions, comments, concerns? Executive session is not listed, and I believe that brings us to the end of our program. So, going once, going twice, we are there. Thank you.
Thank you.